Just yesterday, I did an essay where a woman was worried about her retirement because she was a stay at home mom for 30 years. Well, what happens if a woman has no idea about the finances and the man dies? So, this woman sent in her story, and I want to talk about it. She says, "Dear Burb, I want to tell you a story. Well, more of a cautionary tale for our community and other women. I came from a traditional Christian home. My parents married very young. They were married for over 50 years, something most people on the outside saw as hashtag relationship goals. They were seen as a really great couple, but people didn't see behind the curtain. I didn't see the truth myself until 5 years ago. The reality, they were the most codependent and toxic people I've ever known, and that's a different story for a different time. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and dad worked. He worked a pretty good job and probably made really good money. Fast forward to this year, my dad passes away, leaving my mom with a complete mess. He left her with a scavenger hunt, nothing put together or no indication of which life insurance plans she would need to collect on. Nothing was clear. I had previously tried to have conversations with the both of them about this specifically so we could avoid this exact situation. Despite this, they both refused to give me the details. However, they both expected me to know and help deal with all of this. How they thought I would be able to do this, I don't know. I guess I'm supposed to guess or something. For years, he made her believe that she would be set in the event of his death. That is not the case at all. She has been left with nothing but a mess, horrible surprises and betrayals, most of which I don't know the full extent still at every turn. It has been months now, and she told me that she feels like her whole life has been a lie. To have been declared the love of his life and leaving her in poverty is horrifying to me. I have so much anger about this for her, that he would leave her in this state, knowing full well that she doesn't work and hasn't for years. But to be honest, I also wasn't surprised either. He has always made bad financial decisions, and she was always uninvolved in their finances and was willfully ignorant. So really, he shouldn't have been left as the sole person taking care of their finances. But they both agreed to this, and here we are now. She is left in financial and emotional shambles, devastated. I don't understand how one declares their love for someone and stays married for over 50 years to do something like this. I guess she trusted her husband. The point of this story time is to warn women on so many levels. We cannot blindly trust these people, not even our husbands, particularly if you depend on them solely to survive. Clearly, years together doesn't mean anything, not even over 50 years. We have to look out for ourselves and our children if we have them. As you say, have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, elemental P, all of the plans. Even in marriages that are lifelong and appear to be good on the outside, do not do it. Do not think, my husband would never do that to me. They would. I would bet that my mom thought that too. And you see where that has left her now. Do not do it. Women need to ensure that we have our bases covered first and not blindly trust that someone else has it covered for us. They might not. I can see the younger women catching on to these things, putting their financial lives and careers first. They are so smart for this. The rest need to take this horrible lesson to heart. Ask questions, ask to see the paperwork, attend the appointments, etc. It is a rough world. Even our closest relationships, things can go terribly wrong. We are responsible for our own futures. Growing up witnessing their relationship has given me clarity and the motivation to set myself up first. Thank God I had that drive, and now I want girls and women to have it too, because you cannot hold out hope that someone else has your best interest at heart. They might not by their actions. I wish I had learned my lessons from this all years ago, but I want to pass on the wisdom to other women and the younger generations. They are already so smart, and I want them to keep that energy up. Thank you for what you do. I never miss a post. Yay, thank you. This community is so valuable to protect and take care of each other. That is all that I want us to do. You know, you can be in a relationship. You can not be in a relationship. But one of the things that I will continue to say, I want women to be able to take care of themselves regardless of their relationship status, because you never know. And at the end of the day, At the end of our lives, we have to make sure that we can take care of ourselves. It is so dangerous, and we keep seeing these cautionary tales happen. Please be able to take care of yourself. It's so many people programming us to stay at home. There are so many people that want us to be able to do that. I get it, because, yes, it takes a lot of work to take care of the kids, but society does not come in and help those women when they fall down. They'll shame her on the back end. She should have chose better. Why didn't she know where the insurance papers were? Why didn't she get involved in this? Why did she let him do all of this? They shame the women that do that as well. So there's no winning. So have a sense of self-preservation. All right. Thank you to this woman for sending in this story time. It goes perfectly with all of the other discussions that we have been having. So I don't know this content creator, Krishna, but I'm assuming that this is Indian. This is on the India side of Twitter. Krishna says, offering without comment. So in this particular meme, it says, a working husband comes home to a cooked meal. A working wife comes home to cook the meal. The problem isn't that women are now independent. It is that men aren't. This is a global situation. As more and more women assert their independence and want financial independence, they're going off to work, but they still have multiple skills and the capacity to multitask. They can go to work and still do all of the things within the home. The dudes can go to work, and they haven't been pushed. Society hasn't said that they have to learn how to be a proper adult, because they still have the expectation that they're going to get a wife appliance. And the women globally are like, no, these dudes are going to have to they're going to have to participate in the home. And that is where the struggle globally between men and women, that's where the global struggle is. I love that social media allows us to see that we are not the only ones dealing with these things. So Priyanka says, isn't this precisely what we were talking about the other day? And to that, Hatal says, it's an open wound. Krishna says, sorry you had to deal with that. So I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about, but women have been talking about the fact that they have to go work outside the home and inside the home. Now we have a man, Kumar. He says, working husband earned to hold responsibility of household finances like school fees, kitchen expenses, EMIs, family medical bills. Working wife earned to hold responsibility of their makeup and dress finances. 90% of working women don't hold their own parents' medical bill burden. So, like men here in America, these dudes are saying that women are going to work just to be frivolous. That I love how they always reduce women's spending down to frivolity. Another man says, hire a cook. What's the point of working if you still have to come back and cook? Then we got Shweta saying, I see no lie here. If both are working, they have their own set of responsibilities. And I think working collectively on a decision is the real drive. Now, we have this man named Sage. He seems like one of those red pill guru dating advice types of things, because he has a very long post. And I'm going to sit here and read this, because it seems like globally they want women to go back into the kitchen, back into the home. Sage says, women working outside the home is a lie sold by a broken society. It's a symptom of men who can't provide, lead, or dominate their domain. A man's job is to secure, protect, and elevate. A woman's job is to nurture, support, and multiply value. When she chases a paycheck, she abandons the core of her purpose. Children suffer first. The home suffers next. Marriage collapses silently. A working woman is not empowered. She is compensating for male failure. So keep in mind that men get on social media and cry about women asking for 666, 6 figures, 6 feet tall, 6 pairs of shoes. I know it's not 6 pairs of shoes, but it is the men that are pushing that on them. Women want to go to work. They just want the men to participate in the household. These men will say that a man is a failure if he can't provide for a whole family and the woman stay home. The men are the ones that do that to other men. She is stressed, distracted, and emotionally depleted. Her nurturing energy is spent on strangers, not her family. The house becomes a daycare, not a sanctuary. A man should earn enough so she never has to clock in. If he can't, he's weak. Society celebrates this as freedom. It is slavery in disguise. Her presence in the home is worth more than any paycheck. Men who allow women to work are failing in leadership. They are raising children with absentee mothers. They are sacrificing long-term happiness for short-term convenience. Cultural decay thrives when households lose structure. Women working breaks the natural order. It confuses children about authority, gender, and loyalty. It empties her soul while inflating ego points on social media. She was designed to create life, beauty, and stability. Work outside undermines all three. Men forget this at their own peril. A working woman is a symptom, not a solution. She cannot love fully while being exhausted by strangers. She cannot nurture fully while being distracted by ambition. She cannot support fully while chasing status. Society pretends equality means abandoning natural roles. It doesn't. It corrupts families and accelerates decay. Now, like I said, these people, this dude sounds like a red pillar guru type of person, a dating coach or something like that. He's hitting all of these points, but nowhere in this, like, you cannot hear any woman's voice in this. This is all the patriarchy. The patriarchy says women are just supposed to, do all of the things that they listed. But the patriarchy has failed women on multiple fronts. It really has, especially when you hear things about women. And we talked about this yesterday, not being able to retire. She can't retire. The marriage dissolved and she has no money because she hasn't paid into it. Society doesn't support women on the back end, and women need to know and understand this. These dudes can get on here and bloviate about a woman's role and all of that. But if society is not taking care of women and children, she needs to take care of herself. He's saying a woman is doing this for ego points and social media. No, she's doing this for self-preservation because she needs to take care of herself in case of. And let's not act like in case of isn't a possibility. I'm not going to belabor the comments under this because you'll see it's pretty much the same. These dudes reducing a woman down, trying to push her down and shame her. Like, why are you going out to make that little bit of money? So Rowdy says, working husband cooks 8 hours outside. Working wife cooks 1 hour inside. Both tired. One still gets a TED Talk. Ugh. Homebird says, if they're earning equal salary, sure, the wife isn't obligated to cook. They can hire a maid. However, if one is earning more than the other, then the person earning less should cook the meal. And that's how they look at it. They don't look at hours outside working. By putting it in these terms, especially in a patriarchy where women are paid less, obviously that means putting it in his terms that a woman just still has to come home and cook, because women in society, women around the globe, are paid way less than men are. Brother Man says, but tell me which woman marries to a non-working husband? A man will happily marry a non-working wife if she will cook. So still just supporting the gender roles. And then this dude at the bottom, why is the wife working? They really want women to just be at home, because when women are at home, you can control them. You can control them through finances. Let me know what you think about this one, y'all. Join the conversation. This post has a lot of good lessons in it. The way she speaks, you could tell that she is an active listener. She has empathy, but she has a sense of self-preservation and boundaries. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this, because I do believe that we can pull a lot of good life lessons out of it. All right, so she has a relative. She says, my relative who's 40 called me to complain about her awful boyfriend who's 42. I've never met him. The things she told me he did were goddamn awful. Cheating, gaslighting, personal insults, triangulating her mom against her. Just terrible. He lived 2 hours away. He was broke and would still call her to cuss her out about social media stuff. I listened for hours. I walked my dog, ran errands, cleaned the house, edited a video. She unloaded deal breaker after deal breaker. Again, they've been together for a year, and she's a 40-year-old woman who's completely independent. I offered love, compassion, understanding, and encouragement to value herself in all forms of her safety above all else. She kept going. After another hour, I finally asked how I could help, or if listening was what she needed. She asked me for feedback. Again, I am not a therapist, and I only say what's absolutely necessary regarding folks' relationships unless something is impeding on a person's safety. I asked her what was the benefit of still dating him if he's doing all these things, yet doesn't add any value to her life. This was a genuine question because this is a person who has never had a problem with confrontation with anyone, nor breaking up with folks. Her answer was that she loved him. He was the most attractive man she's ever seen, and all men bring some form of BS. I was honest. I'm out of my league with this. I offered to help her find a therapist. She said cool, but she had one more thing to tell me. She goes on to reiterate more insane stuff that he's done. So finally, I told her that if it were me, I'd break up with him, block him, and go on with my life. She didn't describe anything he did as dangerous, but definitely abusive mentally and emotionally. She clicks over to answer a call, then comes back to our convo. She asked me for my real opinion, no fluff, about what I do. So I repeat that I would leave him, go to therapy, and never deal with him again. He didn't even sound like he was a troubled person who has struggles. He just seemed like he hated her, and it may escalate to more forms of abuse. I shared statistics of similar situations and reminded her that being independent was a major asset that gave her the power to leave. The fact that he wanted to move into her house was also alarming, since her autonomy and independence was likely the only thing keeping his behavior from escalating further. This whole time she's saying, I remind her that I love her and want what's best for her and want to see her healthy and happy. Right as I'm saying that last little bit, why did I hear, oh, for real? I'm abusive? You don't know me? This B-word lying. And then she gives this emoji face that looks shocked. I'm confused for a second until it registers. She clicked over and called him so he could hear my feedback. So I start arguing back. I should have hung up, I suppose, but I don't take kindly to folks yelling at me. While I'm going back at him, I hear her say, this is what I'm saying. Everybody says the same thing, that I need to leave you. You giving them reasons to feel that way. She used me to appeal to him to treat her better. I tell them both to kiss my butt and hang up. Called her parents and told on her. Apparently, she did the same thing to them. Not only was it messy and selfish to trick me into that situation, but it could have been dangerous for me or both of us. Again, I don't know that man nor what he looks like, so getting into a fight with him isn't good judgment. However, I've been licensed for safety since I was 25, so rolling up on me will be your last ride, if you know what I mean. Anyways, she calls me back and says her phone must have picked up another cell phone call, like it's a car phone in 1995. At this point, I basically tell her she's on my own. My compassion isn't safety optional. We don't talk. A few mutual relatives reach out to ask me to forgive, saying the devil wants the family split. The devil ain't thinking about us. She's just not about to drag me into mess she's determined to cling to. Prior to this, we were pretty cool. I helped her with the business plan, was there for her when she was down, helped her find a job, like things were fine. A few months go by, I get a voice note. This is why I have trust issues. Her note says that she lied about everything because she was reacting to their breakup. She apologized for involving me, but she had hoped hearing someone tell them to break up would encourage him to fight for her. I'm getting irritated all over again typing this. She says she had been drinking and didn't use good judgment, but made up all the stories. 5 hours of stories, perfectly coherent, but I'm supposed to believe she made it all up. I asked her who her insurance provider was, then sent a list of therapists in her state and blocked her. It pained me to do that, but whether she was lying then or before, all of it was too much. I have compassion, but I also have boundaries, and my safety comes first. I have been labeled mean, harsh, and all other ungodly terms by our mutuals, and I'll be that. I'll be all of that, but either way, I'll be safe. This was in 2024. They are still together, by the way. So this woman was very kind and that she stayed on the phone for 5 hours listening to a bunch of stuff talking about cheating, manipulating, all of this for a dude that lives 2 hours away and is in his 40s and is basically a bum. She is really kind to sit on the phone and just listen and hold space for her relative. But also you could see how once the relative came in and showed that there's no way she is leaving that man alone, that she is still revolving around this man. That's when Sharon decided, let me pull my compassion. I got to have compassion for myself. Some women don't know how to have balance in their relationships. They put their relationships above all else, but you still have to focus on yourself as far as your mental health, your physical health, your relationships with other people. Otherwise, you're draining from those other sources. Those male-centered women, those types of women are dangerous because then they start to bring stress to everybody else around them. And she was right to protect herself and have some boundaries. I absolutely love this story and thought that this would be a perfect one to bring to our community. Hopefully you could take some lessons from this, the whole listening thing, the empathy, but still having the sense to be like, nope, not my monkey, not my circus. Because you know there are shades. There are shades. We are a woman-centered space here, but we still have to have some boundaries and have some sense. And everything that she did, I thought that she did well, outside of the fact that I couldn't have 5 hours to sit up there and listen to somebody. I just couldn't do it. But she has a whole lot of patience. Not everybody is like that. Anyways, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this particular Threads post. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I know I didn't do any of the comments, but still, it went on a little long. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I think this is another good discussion question coming from Twitter. So OG John Lee says, I told my gal I was going to cut the grass Sunday, and I didn't. So today she hired somebody to cut it. I feel like she just called me a BAN, a B-word, A-word ninja. B-word, A-word ninja, if you're not looking at the screen. He says, no cap. Whoever cut it did a great job too. I ain't even mad. And now Master L at the bottom says, the best thing you could have done in that situation was to reimburse her for the grass expenses. So we have some lessons in this very short post. He told her something that he was going to do. So he didn't have integrity. He knew and understood that he had something to do. He failed in his role or whatever that duty was for that particular day. The woman said, I am not going to nag this man. I'm not going to do it. I see something that needs to be done. He failed to do it. He lied about it. And so I'm just going to do it myself. How often does this type of situation happen, regardless of if it's cutting the grass, which these dudes are always talking about, like, well, who's going to cut the grass? Who's going to get the oil change? Blah, blah, blah. They always act like that's what they have to do. But even still, this dude failed in his duty. And she's like, I bet I'll handle it. How often do we see this? And then this type of thing just comes over and over and over, and it's a cycle. And the reason why women are up and leaving, the fact that she could hire someone says, dude, I got it. He knows that she could handle life without him, because even the duty that these dudes go on and on and on about, she said, I bet I got it. Let's look at some of the comments underneath this post. Valley Man says, damn, it's about that time. She's plotting right now. Bridge said, oh, make no mistake, she did. Poppy says, it's Wednesday. She definitely called you a BAN. And then Godiva Lulu says she did because you are. Y'all know, like, when they act like they are so blindsided. Why didn't she communicate? Did she tell me? Men can't read minds. These dudes know. Chingaling's comment is absolutely perfect and spot on. She says this is actually strike one. She's currently building a case. A few more of these and then the resentment sets in. Now she's picturing her life without you. Before you know, she's left you mentally, but not physically. then poof, you, sir, are now single. Be careful. Because the thing is, if a woman sees that she has to do all of the things, and she can do all of the things because you're there, you're just being useless. These dudes in their weaponized incompetence, their lack of integrity, it teaches women that, yes, I can absolutely do this by myself. She said, you know what? I got this. And she handled it. And the dude knows it too. So what is he going to do about it? I have no idea. But these dudes are never blindsided. They choose to act like they're blindsided. And even the other men around them know that they're not quite blindsided. They're just plain dumb. 2.0 says he's probably on strike 2 and doesn't even know it. Chingaling says for sure. Cancrin at the top says the divorce or breakup came out of nowhere. All right. Now, Nicholas says, I don't know. I don't think you can ever build a life with someone if this is the type of you use as a justification to leave. Like, you ain't ever had a few busy days in a row and slipped your mind. And instead of communicating like an adult, you're building a case to leave. So in this case, he's saying we should be allowed to be unreliable. We should be allowed to not uphold our word. And if you see something, say something. But this is an adult. These are two adults in a situation. Because soon as a woman starts starts talking like, you said you were going to mow the lawn, men interpret that as nagging. There's absolutely no way that a woman can win. Men just have to do better about keeping their word and handling their business. Chingaling says the first mistake was needing to ask. He saw the grass just like she did and still didn't act. Then he's shocked when she pays to get it done. It's not building a case to leave. It's choosing peace when you begin to notice a pattern of inconsistency. If I was actually over on Twitter, I would follow this Chingaling lady. Yes, I'm over on Twitter, but not really like that and not as bourbon bougie. Remember over here, OG John Lee says, I feel like she just called me a BAN. Let that sink in, says, just add lazy, unreliable, and incompetent to it, and you've got it right. Cleopatra says, told my ex to fix a broken pane on the main door. Took a week of doing nothing, so I asked the neighbor, a bachelor, that was the beginning of the end. 222 says, I know you think this is such a little thing, but it's not. Be a man of your word. Showing signs of being unreliable is a horrible trait in a possible future husband or potential father of your children. Antoine says, if she made you pay for it, then you are. LOL. The lady at the bottom says, should have done it on a Saturday because you ain't messing up my Sunday football time with your mowing. And I like big breakfasts on Sunday mornings too. It's the chill day. Saturday is chore/cleaning day. Obviously not for this dude. I wonder if he learned his lesson. Probably not. Sometimes, like, these dudes really get they have so much ego that they don't think that the woman is going to leave. And then that's the reason why they get blindsided and it came out of nowhere, even though we see these stories over and over again. All right, y'all, let me know what you think of this one.
So earlier this year, I decided to fix my relationship with men and start listening to them a little bit more and stop being so defensive about everything that they say. And the more I speak to men and the more I become friends with them and hear their viewpoints, the lesser of a feminist I become. I feel like I don't resonate with being a feminist anymore. So now I'm a misandrist, and a very proud one.